Greetings, everybody, and welcome for tuning in to another episode of Mama Rue's Ancestral Musings. If you are a new listener, thanks so much for giving me a chance to talk to you today. And if you're a returning listener, thank you for coming back. I don't know about you all, but it has been a very, very emotional time since we last spoke. Well, it was an emotional time then too, but it hasn't let up. Last night, there was an ABC network hosted town hall that featured President of the United States, Barack Obama. And different people were invited to come and ask questions to address what I thought was going to be this problem in this country with police brutality. But I felt that it was a bait and switch tactic. I tuned in to see, what was going to, go down, and it basically looked like a situation where this was support for the Blue Alert bill. Okay. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically a bill coming out of Washington that affords police officers in the United States more protection. Okay, now I'm not full verse on the bill at the moment, but one of the things that I do remember is that it allows them extended time frames after which, something has happened that they can put in a report. I think I read like 30 days, but I could be wrong. It's really difficult for me to even look at that kind of stuff right now, given what's been happening, since the beginning of the month and toward the end of last month. It's just been really hard. And some of us who feel deeply and seers, are among those that do. When one of us is violated in some way, it affects us as if these are our own people. Okay. Mike Brown's murder devastated me. And I felt that gut-wrenching pain. And then I happened to find out that we were some kin by marriage. His uncle is married to a cousin of mine or something like that. I don't know those cousins that well in St. Louis. But anyway, it's still gut-wrenching and it's heartbreaking and it's devastating. One of us goes down like that, all of us are affected at some level or another, and some of us more than others. So when the nation tries to come together to do something, I want to see, I want to know, I want to stay on top of it. And that town hall, y'all, it was just unreal. It was so disturbing. They had the mother from Baltimore during the Freddie Gray incident. There were protests in the streets, and a young man, a warrior, okay, that's what I call him. That's what I called him then. That's what I call him now. One of our young warriors took the onus to go out there and stand in solidarity with the rest of the brothers and sisters in our outrage, over the death of Freddie Gray. And this young man's mother ran out of the house and beat him upside the head multiple times. And this was all caught on someone's cell phone camera. And then she makes the media, and she's being branded by majority white folks as Mom of the Year. Now, that's problematic, okay? A black woman beating a young black man in the head, okay, with her open hand, maybe her fist, I can't remember exactly. It's been a while. Shit was disgusting, I'm going to be honest. I did not like it. It made me very angry. And then to make it even worse, you got all these racist white folks cheering her on like she did them a service. Okay, and they're lauding her and putting her on a pedestal. This country with a history of beating and abusing the black body. Okay, and I want to just give a little shout out to my sister, Dr. Stacy Patton, Patton. This wonderful warrioress. All right, she's championing hard for us. She's doing studies and research on the effects of corporal punishment in the black community. She's starting to find out that this wasn't really our way of discipline. Our ancestors did not use the slave master's tactics to rear children. That was something that basically is a vestige of slavery. It is not our way. And her posit is that, it corrupts us, on a physical level, mental level, psychological level, even a spiritual one as well. There's like layers to this. So I commend her for the work she's doing. And if you are not familiar with Stacy Patton, you can follow her page on Facebook. Very, very, very important stuff she puts out there. But anyway, getting back to this mom, beating her kid and in front of the world, and having people celebrate her for that. I think it's just disgusting given the history of this country, given the history of racial tension and race relation. You celebrate a boy being beat, all right, but you low-key celebrate the deaths of our black and brown people. And how do I know this? Every time it happens and you go on social media or you look at an article and you read comments, you see the celebratory nature. It's almost like the spectacle lynching. That was a celebration for white folks. Okay? Don't believe me? Go look up the pictures. You see a bunch of white people standing around the black body looking solemn and grieving. Are they in mourning? Are they crying? Do they look like they're horrified? No, they all look happy as all get out. Okay? They look happy. It's the same shit. These people, over time, they know that shit is disgusting. They know it makes them look like fucking evil monsters. So they're not going to be all ha 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 on your faces. They go over to Stormfront for that shit. And all these other little racist outlets, to do all of that undercover, right? But when they're in the public arena, they use certain language that lets you know that that is how they feel. And what do we hear? Oh, well, he shouldn't have been doing this. Oh, he shouldn't have been doing that. Oh, he should have just complied. Oh, hold on. Philando Castile did. And look what happened to him. Okay, now getting back to the town hall, there was a moment during the town hall where you had this demonstration video. And they had this brother all cowboyed up and shit, trying to demonstrate how to properly display your license and registration, how to properly maneuver, so that a cop won't be inclined to shoot you. Now, is that how far we've come in this country, that black folks have to do special maneuvers and gestures and positioning of our documentation just so we don't scare the fuck out of some tricky, happy cop? Because that's always what they say. I fear for my life. I fear for my life. I fear for my life. Okay? By virtue of us being black, that's something to fear. Okay? So we're supposed to accommodate their inability to see us as human beings. That's where we are. We have to accommodate them and their discomfort level. We are supposed to disarm them in a manner of speaking, disarm ourselves in a manner of speaking. That is pure bullshit. That shit fucked me up. I had to turn it off. I couldn't see anymore. I was physically getting ill watching that dumb shit. Okay? I went to bed fucking mad last night, and I woke up feeling even worse this morning. I actually woke up in fucking tears this morning. Because I was like, I can't even fucking believe that fuckery and foolishness I saw on my TV screen last night. with this fucking town hall. It was all about white fragility and how can we protect it. The victims, family members, were there to speak. They were invited. They didn't get a chance to say shit. They were silenced. And if you don't believe me, go to Twitter and look up Erica Garner. She is the daughter of Eric Garner, who was choked to death in New York. Okay? He died saying he couldn't breathe. Remember him? And nobody was indicted. Nobody, is going to get any type of punishment except the young man, a brown brother, who filmed the whole thing. He's getting 4 years in prison for filming, for allowing the world to be a witness to this type of bullshit. And that man's daughter, Erica Garner, was silenced last night. And she had a whole lot to say about that. I don't even know where to begin talking about my disappointment in our president. I feel utterly betrayed, and I just felt like, he's at the end of his last term. He's going to throw down the gauntlet, right? Wrong. He's basically trying to kowtow to, white fragility so that all these wackos who hate our guts and wouldn't like anything more than to reenact the 40s and the 50s, mass hangings off of the bridges. I'm sure some of you have seen those lynching postcards where they lynched whole families off bridges, the children and the elderly too, pregnant women. In some cases, one woman, they cut her belly open and pulled the baby out and killed it. Monsters. And we're supposed to act like that kind of mentality just went poof somewhere around late 1960s. We're supposed to just pretend that that element doesn't exist in somebody's mind and a whole group of people's minds today. We just want to pretend everything the fuck away. We just want to pray everything the fuck away. We just want to sit here and have these little discussions and debates and town halls and symposiums and workshops and cultural sensitivity training and all this dumb shit, okay, to try to pretend like that evil, that fucking beastly behavior no longer exists in the minds of Americans, particularly white racist ones. And it seems like a whole bunch of them motherfuckers are in the police department. And it's like a soldier who's been training for a long time in boot camp finally gets to go to a war zone, but he's put in an outpost somewhere where there's no action. And he can't wait to do the things that he was trained to do. Can't wait. But there's no action. And after a while, you get so fucking bored that you will go into the nearest village and make some action yourself by fucking with innocent civilians. Okay? You will go and fuck up a damn village because you're just so goddamn trigger happy and you got a bloodlust. That bloodlust has been here ever since the first white person stepped foot in this land. Now, the first blood that was shed belonged to the red man. But that, and they wiped them almost damn near the fuck out. So they needed to continue this shit. Who's next? Oh, let's get us some of these niggers. We can keep it up with them. Now, like I said before, Native American blood is still being shed. Latino blood is still being shed. Okay? They don't fuck with the yellow man too much. If they do, I don't know. I ain't seen it. If you know about it, let me know. Okay? But people of color, we're the primary fucking targets. Let me tell y'all something right now. The only reason they still do this to us is because they haven't figured it out yet that they no longer own us. Yeah, slavery was over 150 years ago. Why don't you get over it? Just get over it. No, motherfuckers, you need to fucking get over it because you still